I played an incredibly fun shooter called Bulletstorm, and I want to tell you about it. Bulletstorm is a first-person shooter developed by People Can Fly and Epic Games and published by EA in 2011. Some sales figures for Bulletstorm. I can't really find anything as far as like how many copies overall has been sold. Plus, there's a remastered version, which is the one I played. But according to the wiki, it sold about 300,000 units in February of 2011. I think that EA was not real impressed with the sales. They were hoping that it would sell up there with Gears of War, but it didn't. Also, a sequel for Bulletstorm was announced and was being worked on. Maybe it wasn't announced, I'm not sure, but it was being developed. And then later, Epic said, no, we want you guys to work on Gears of War Judgment, which I have already played and done a video on this channel, and I did not like that Gears of War. So, yeah, after playing this game, I kind of wish they would have done Bulletstorm too. Anyway, what makes Bulletstorm unique? Well, it honestly starts off pretty slow. Your character, his name is Grayson, and basically he finds out that his boss is a douche, and having Grayson and his team kill innocent people by lying to them and saying that these innocent people were like terrorists and did horrible things and whatnot. Anyway, Grayson finds out, and bam. Now our whole goal of the game is to kill our commander dude. But it takes a little bit. It's honestly probably 15 or 20 minutes for you to like get into what the game actually is. And what the gameplay of Bulletstorm is basically kill everything in cool and unique ways. Use your brain to kind of figure out how to destroy enemies. And honestly, it's really fun, and the game rewards you with skill points for killing in unique ways. So you take your arsenal of guns, which there are a lot, and I'll get into that. But you take your guns and you try to kill enemies in unique ways. Getting headshots earns you more points. You can walk up to an enemy and kick the enemy and hit them on a spike wall, and you get points that way. You have this whip, which is really cool, that you can whip somebody and sling them in the air, and then you can shoot them in the air because there's kind of like a freeze time. When an enemy flies, they freeze, you don't, so you're still able to move around. But when you pull an enemy into the air or kick them, you have a little delay. There's like they're freezing in slow motion, kind of moving, but they're the only thing. Everything else is still moving at full speed. So yeah, it gives you time to blow them up. You can whip an enemy up in the air, and then you can kick like a bomb at them, and the bomb blows up. Or you can kick an enemy off a cliff and watch them fall. You can pick an enemy up, chuck them in the air, and then you can pull out your machine gun and you can blast them that way. One of my favorite weapons, and it's probably one of the coolest ways that this gun has ever been portrayed in a video game, is the sniper rifle. When you shoot the sniper, the bullet goes, and you can actually control the bullet. So you shoot the sniper bullet, and it goes, the camera follows the bullet, and then about 30 feet before you hit the enemy, you're able to control the bullet. So the enemies are moving while it's kind of slow motion, but the enemies are still moving kind of fast. Like, they're not normal speed, definitely slow motion, but you're able to guide this bullet and blast these enemies. So if an enemy is hidden behind a wall, you can shoot a sniper directly at them, and they duck behind a wall. You can curve the bullet down and still hit them. The sniper is so cool. And then with the guns, you can actually upgrade them. So this is kind of how the monetary system works in the game. Is you're rewarded with skill points, which can then be used to purchase upgrades and ammo for all the weapons that you get. So you can purchase a charge shot for the gun, and each weapon has a different charge shot ability. Once again, the sniper probably being my favorite, because you can shoot the enemy with the charge shot of the sniper, curve the bullet, hit the enemy, and then you can control the enemy with that charge shot, and then it explodes. So you can hit an enemy with the sniper, drag that enemy over to other enemies, and then blow up that sniper round and kill tons of enemies that way. Like, this game is so creative and so unique, and you're rewarded by using your brain to try and figure out lots of weird ways to kill enemies. And you have lists of, I'll call them quests, basically little missions that you can do, creative ways to to kill the enemies, right? So each gun, like you've got your pistol, you've got your machine gun, you've got a grenade launcher, you've got a sniper, a shotgun, you have a chain gun. Is there any others that I'm missing? I'm probably missing some. But anyway, all the guns that you get have a list of cool skills or cool ways that you can kill enemies and get skills that way. Like the grenade launcher is pretty fun. There's one where it's like bounce one of the grenades twice and then blow up an enemy, or shoot it over 100 meters without hitting the ground and kill an enemy. I couldn't figure that one out. I'm sure that there's an area where you can shoot a ball off a cliff and then it falls down and blows up an enemy that way. There's boss fights that you can do. There's like mini bosses where it's like this big fat guy that he has a helmet, and then most of the time it's a chain gun or something else. But there's cool ways to kill him where you can rip off his helmet and then you can whip him in the head and rip his head off. Or there's a one where it wants you to stun him and then kick him in the butt, revealing his butt cheeks, and then you shoot his butt. Like it's hilarious. The game is hilarious. It's definitely of its era. There's lots of dick jokes and stuff, so it definitely feels like a junior high humor. But it's also like kind of deep too in the story. We'll get to that in a little bit, but the killing is where this game really shines. One of my favorite things to do was to take the pistol, and its charge shot is like firing a bottle rocket, so you can get underneath an enemy and shoot the enemy with this bottle rocket, and then they just go flying. Or you can whip an enemy in the air, blast them with the bottle rocket, and they're just launching out into space. There's big piranha plant things that can eat enemies. You can walk up and kick an enemy into the plant. There's lots of different hazards on the ground and whatnot. So it's really fun that you can use your environment to kill enemies and get skill points. And the whole monetary system, the economy of the game is kill enemies in cool ways, get points to buy more ammo and upgrades to then kill enemies in really cool ways. So it just works really well, and it was honestly one of my favorite things to do was look at the list and go out and attempt a lot of these cool ways to kill enemies that way. One of the hardest ones I did get, but I don't know why it was so hard for me, but it was shoot a sniper and guide the bullet and to hit a guy in the dick with it, and you blow up his balls. It took me forever to get it, but I finally got it, and I couldn't believe how hard it was. It seems easier, but the enemies are constantly moving, and I don't know. Anyway, I eventually got it. I think I completed the machine gun, I completed the pistol, I completed the sniper, and I think I completed the shotgun. Everything else was a little trickier. The chain gun I couldn't really get the hang of. Like, it was fine, and maybe it's really cool, and I just couldn't learn how to use it. But I didn't do that one as much. The rocket launcher, or the grenade launcher, I did, but couldn't get the one where you have to launch it'll kill an enemy over 100 meters without letting the ball bounce. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, there was a harpoon gun. That was another fun one that I liked, because you can shoot like a harpoon and pin enemies on the walls and stuff, and they like spin. So you can pin an enemy to the ground and then they spin, and then I think it's called disco. So yeah, I don't know. The game is hilarious. It's really cool. It's very bloody and graphic. The dialogue is very crude, like I said, dick jokes, and lots of like I think one of the things they say is, instead of son of a bitch, they say son of a dick, I think is what it is. I don't know. Anyway, it's it's very me. It fits my humor. Sometimes it was over the top and I thought it was dumb, but other times they would say stuff and it would just make me freaking laugh. So yeah, I don't know. I think the game's very surface level as far as that goes. Although there are cool moments in the story where Grayson is, trying to reconcile his wrongdoings, and you end up meeting another character named Trishka, who they kind of have a thing going. But anyway, their paths intertwine, and some things happen in the plot that I'm not going to spoil, because I think they're kind of fun to just discover as the game unfolds. And I know this game's pretty old, and maybe a lot of people have played it since its release. Like I said, there is a full clip edition, which came out in 2016 or something. I can't remember. That's the one that I played. Some people argue that the first one, or the original, is better. However, I think that I don't know if the original is this way, but I do know in the full clip edition that it warrants a New Game Plus, because you get all of the guns in the regular game. It's sprinkled in throughout the axe, and I think you get the last gun in like 1 or 2 acts before the finish. Whereas when you do a New Game Plus, you get all the guns right from the very beginning. And I feel like that could have benefited this game heavily is if you got all of the guns earlier, because then it gives you more time to mess around with the sandbox of guns, get really cool kills, and that was, like I said, the meat and potatoes of the game. Another thing I wish they would have done too is give me like a weapon wheel. What you have to do in order to buy bullets and swap weapons is you have to find these little shop things that you connect to them with your whip. Now, granted, there are a lot of these, but I did find at points that I was running out of bullets, and the only gun that you can't swap out, like you can hold 3 guns at a time, but you can never swap out your SMG or your machine gun, because pretty much every enemy you kill is holding a machine gun, and you're always going to have bullets for the machine gun. But everything else, you have to get to one of these stores and purchase ammo that way, which, I mean, I understand because of how the currency works and stuff. Like you end up spending most of your money on buying ammo and charge shots for weapons. And I get it, because if you didn't have to do it that way and you were constantly finding ammo, you would have like a gazillion dollars that there's nothing for you to even spend your money on. So I don't know, like that's just a minor complaint. However, like I said, when you go into the New Game Plus, I think there's modes or things that you can unlock pretty much where you have infinite ammo, so you never have to worry about that, and then you can just spend all of your time killing in very creative ways, which to me, like I said, warrants the second playthrough for the New Game Plus. But yeah, the game, as far as the combat goes, is amazing. It's hilarious. It's super fun. It's so satisfying, killing enemies in unique ways. And on top of that, like, the game looks really good, and there are so many spectacle moments that when you're playing, you're like, holy crap, this is awesome. There's a part where you're on a train, I believe it's a train, and you're trying to outrun this ginormous wheel, like a humongous wheel that is constantly chasing after you. You're trying to blow it up and get away. That's really cool. There's a giant monster in a cave that you go to. There's another moment where you're remote controlling another giant monster, which I don't really want to spoil that too, because that was pretty fun. So there's lots of times where you go and you see this massive vista, or you're overlooking this massive city, and you just think, wow, this is honestly incredible. It's like sometimes I would see an area and I would get like that Breath of the Wild vibe where you walk out on the Great Plateau and you see Hyrule. Whereas this is you walk out of a building and then you see this massive vista, or you come outside of a cave and you see this massive city that's kind of like abandoned / post-apocalyptic, because there's parts where there's like, it's basically gangs that you're fighting, gangs on this planet, but you're not on Earth, by the way. You're on some different planet. I mean, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters as far as the story goes. All that matters is you're chasing after the commander that you want to kill him. It's a revenge plot, but you're also lost on a planet that you're trying to get the hell out of there. Basically, just to go back, and you're trying to find the commander, you want to kill him, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. Like, the plot's fine. The writing is fine. It's funny at points, like I said. Sometimes it's too much. But where really the game shines is it's in the gameplay. Killing with skill is how my buddy Cole, who did a video on our main channel about Bulletstorm, which I will link in the description and at the end of the video, so you can go check that out. He talks about the game more in depth than I did here. And yeah, I mean, as far as Bulletstorm goes, it's hilarious. It's a fun, basic shooter. I beat it in about 7 hours. But like I said, I think that this game benefits heavily from a New Game Plus playthrough. And you can just jump right in from the very beginning and do the fun things. There's also like time attack modes and floor killing modes, I guess. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of content here for you to mess with. I think that the main story is fine, but the New Game Plus and all the other bonus content is probably even better. I played a little bit of it, but I had my fill with Bulletstorm. I think it's a fun game. I think it's an underrated shooter. I remember hearing about it back in the day, but I never bought it. I was more into Gears of War versus Bulletstorm, but since it was made by or at least, Epic Games kind of co-developed this one. I probably should have played it back in the day. I know Cole and a lot of his buddies did, specifically because they were trying to play the Gears 3 beta, and if you purchased Bulletstorm, you were able to play the Gears 3 beta. I think Bulletstorm's awesome. I wish there was a sequel. We'll probably never get it, but if you haven't, you should go check out Bulletstorm. I got it on Steam, and that's what I played. I played the full clip edition. You could probably play that one and enjoy it just fine. The other thing that I thought was interesting while doing a little bit of research for this game is, I guess in February of 2011, there was a Fox News controversy where there was somebody that put an article on their website talking about how there was a psychologist who said that, and I think I can say the R word. I'm just going to say grape, because grapes, you'll understand. But this is a quote that says, "The increase of grapes can be attributed in a large part to playing out of sexual scenes in video games." And somehow Bulletstorm got thrown into this conversation. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but it's interesting that something like this could plague this game when, from what I remember, there's not really anything sexual. This is a bro shooter, the broest of bro shooters. I think the commander has a little bit of he may say some more intense sexual things, but it wasn't often. I can think of maybe one moment where he says something sexual, but it's nowhere near grape. And there's one girl character in the game, and she's like a badass herself. Like, nobody's graping her. She will beat the shit out of you. So anyway, that was a weird thing that I had come across that, I guess there was some controversy, and so for some reason Bulletstorm got brought up as a game that, I guess, helped increase grapes. But I think there's a lot of data in this. On the wiki, it talks about some of the data that refutes this. So anyway, I don't know. Kind of weird, kind of dumb. I disagree with that heavily after playing the game. It's more about blood and killing and being a badass. So anyway, that is just my thoughts on Bulletstorm. I think it's a fun game. If you haven't played it, I would definitely recommend it if you like shooters. And there's probably lots of really cool ways to kill enemies that I never even thought of. And probably what I should do is go on the internet and YouTube and Reddit and see if I can find really cool clips of this game, because it's super fun, it's funny, and I think you'd enjoy it. Anyway, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Bulletstorm down in the comment section below, if you've played it or if you haven't. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.